Our slogan is a thing for cars, because actually what is it? Is it a magazine? Is it a book? It's many pages, beautiful art papers, beautiful printing, lots of in-depth storytelling, ultra cutting edge stories, but also a lot of celebration of car culture, design, heritage, very diverse in its contents. We're very obstinate people. We're so focused on not following a party line and always being original, and that's reflected in the kind of writers we commission. We're opinionated. I hope that we're witty as well, so I hope we're warm and friendly whilst being very outspoken at times, and that comes through in our commissioning, whether it's the contributors, the readers, or the team that actually are hands-on making the magazine. We're very passionate people. I'd say we're obsessives.
For me, what makes the Road Rat different is really the in-depth nature of the way they cover stories, the culture around cars, rather than it necessarily just being about engine and speed and performance and all those things. And certainly as somebody that isn't from the automotive world, that was attractive to me from an editorial point of view. And it also allows us to explore creativity in a different way, bring talent from outside the automotive sector, working with certain set designers, illustrators, photographers. They might be fashion photographers, but you bring them in with a creative approach and you get different outcomes, I guess. For the sector, that seems like a really interesting way of approaching it. I take my inspiration from many different places. Yes, the worlds of fashion, which I worked in, but certainly from design and craft and interiors, all sorts of places. And a lot of my contributors come from those different worlds. And I think bringing them into projects on the Road Rat has been a really interesting challenge in some places, but also just it's taken it to different places. And that's great for me.
So at the Road Rat magazine, we absolutely love what Singer are doing. And for a long time, we've been looking for our next project, reflecting what we love about the commissions that Singer are involved in designing and producing. Singer have taken things to a next level and then a next level again. And personally, as I started to look into this project and the opportunity started to open up to work with Singer on producing this huge editorial feature and this cover story, I went to visit facilities in the UK's motorsport valley, you might call it, in Northamptonshire, just up the road from where we are at Bicester Heritage, and also in LA, in Torrance. And looking there, I will say, even as somebody working in car media, I hadn't appreciated where Singer had got to today. I hadn't appreciated the scale of the facilities, 650 staff. It just blew my mind that it's got to this point, a 3-year waiting list as we sit here now. And more than anything for me, the experience was looking at DLS turbo restorations being completed in the UK facility and looking under the skin of those cars, the eye for detail. And you know, I say we're obsessives at the Road Rat magazine. We have a crazy eye for detail here. We finesse things to extreme levels. Looking at those cars and some of the parts even that an owner might see if they visit the factory and see the car being put together, but in reality, day to day, we'll never see the level of finish, the quality of the welds, the anodizing, just the beauty of those components, pure mechanical components. I thought this is unlike any other business operating vaguely in this zone. And so that was our intention with our content, not just to reflect the beauty and the huge flamboyant character of, say, the exterior of a car like a DLS Turbo commission, but photographing components in incredible detail, bringing photographers who have experience of photographing luxury products, jewelry, showing those components really as the reader and the owner of the car will see those. Approaching, if I can use the term, the madness of this project, the madness, and I say that obsessive eye for detail again, but also just the originality of thinking that goes into so many of these cars and into some of the, even from the owner of the car's perspective, in some of the bespoke commissions and some of the ideas they throw in the mix with Singer's team. Yeah, we just love how playful some of the naming of these cars is, some of the color choices, the livery, if you like, the incredible interior finish. So we wanted to take our creative treatments to a parallel level and actually in some ways reflect how surreal some of that is, with almost I won't say limitless budget, but with generous budgets, what can be done, with this level of passion in owners. These people are prepared to wait for 3 years on this waiting list and invest as much as they do in a commission, where that takes things. And I think the people at Singer can identify with this. We suffer regularly from mission creep at the Road Rat, but our mission isn't like designed by committee. Our mission creep isn't watering things down. It's amplifying upwards always, and new ideas and extra ideas, and taking it to the next level. And so if I segue from sitting in this office, Bicester Heritage, thinking, where will we take this? What will make us completely distinctive in the way we treat this? And then we ended up near Area 51 in the Mojave Desert, parachuting this classic turbo commission in this incredible sort of metallic acid green with a vivid red interior, looking like and meaning to look like some kind of 1950s sci-fi UFO landing in this environment. We were 4 miles from any kind of habitation, 4 miles up an incredibly rough dirt track, and we parachuted this car in there, shot it as dusk was falling, with rattlesnakes all around us and coyotes and, a sky full of stars. It's just, that's the moment that vicariously we want to carry the reader into the seat of that car, into that moment. And I felt like that, between that and the beauty of our studio photography of the DLS Turbo commission, it reflected the detail and the character of those cars in such different environments, but contrasting them. And I hope with the quality of printing and reproduction of those images we can bring to it, that reflects the hopes of Robert Dickinson and his team at Singer when they are involved in the design of those restorations, those modifications, those commissions for individual owners. That's where they're hoping to take it as well. I really hope our readers pick up on that with this latest edition.
There's always been a luxury end to the car market, but this idea that people can have customization, can get involved in the process of creating their own car, expressing themselves within it, that clearly is an interesting space for the sort of future of luxury, really. That is what people want, to be able to have something that they can talk about, and they can tell people the stories of why they chose that particular color or particular finish. Personality as well, which is really fun. It's kind of nice to see that ability to be playful with it, and that perhaps gets a bit lost on so many other automotive brands and things, really.
Everybody understands, I think, who knows anything about Singer, that the detail to the interior finish, to the bespoke elements, is unlike any other restorer or modifier of cars out there at the moment. But the question there is, does the driving experience live up to that? And so I was fortunate enough to have a proper drive in a classic turbo commission as part of my research for this cover story. And what surprised me, because I'll just be honest about, you have a bit of cynicism about these things, was just how sophisticated its dynamics were. It was comfortable, it was approachable, it has quite a fierce clutch, but beyond that, the spacing of the pedals, the gear change, the feel through the steering, and then of course the performance with just the slightest nostalgic hint of turbo lag, but very sophisticated twin turbos on a sort of 3.8 Metzger block, sort of classic engine, but with those very modern twin turbos. Huge but accessible performance. I'd say high safety net around the car. Very composed, very accessible, and with a really charismatic noise. The driving experience and the look of the car gel in a way that so many don't. My experience of so many low volume supercars, as a contrast to this, from very mainstream manufacturers, but when they make them in small numbers, there's not the development budget there to hone those dynamics. It seemed to click together remarkably well in this car for me. So does it live up to the hype? Yes, in my opinion, definitely.
The Road Rat feels like a great fit for a brand like Singer. They're both products that are deeply passionate about cars, but they know that to present these things in a beautiful way matters. The Road Rat product, is a beautifully printed magazine, great paper quality, allows for expansive kind of photographic essays. All of those things really appeal to my sensibility. And I feel in this day and age with publishing, if we are going to invest in print, it needs to be beautiful. Digital can take care of so many things, but actually being able to hold a magazine, sit back and read something and enjoy the photography. There's no better way of doing that, really. There is an audience out there who want the look and feel of that, and whether it's in book form or whether it's in car form, I think the same principles apply. People want beautiful things and they know that time and effort has been put into them, and that's the crucial bit for me. We do the same with magazines. That's where my passion lies, is kind of presenting stories in a beautiful way, commissioning great talent. You know, we're lucky enough to do that here at the Road Rat.
There's a love around cars that are both usable and perform to an absolute next level, but capture a certain nostalgia. They capture the flavor of a moment, but an idealized flavor of that moment. And people use the term resto mod, but resto mod can be a bit basic, if you ask me, because it really can just mean a Ford Mustang with big rims and a modern engine dropped into it. And I respect and like those kind of things, and I understand them. But you look at what Singer is doing, it's so next level and next level. These things, and this is just my judgment, they are artworks. They are very personal to their owners who are involved in that commission, even in the naming of them. They absolutely were not the first cars to be called resto mods, but in my mind, they've created a genre and they're often copied. But are any others getting to that level of quality? Are any others getting to that level of scale? The scale of Singer's facilities, Singer's employees, Singer's waiting list, the love of owners and the repeat customers now. This is the thing I've really learned about Singer through working with this project. It is absolutely next level on so many measures.